Okay, everybody, thanks for stopping by and welcome back to the show. If this is your first time watching, I will clarify our rule set for you. When we break, we like to have the opportunity, if you make a ball, to take your choice of either stripes or solids. The only advantage of making a ball on the break is that you get to go again. Now, being that it's still open, if you miss, then the table remains open. So we like that rule set because I find that otherwise, say like you make a stripe, but then the stripes are all buried, you're actually penalized. And I think that if you have a nice break, especially with the great spread, you don't want to penalize the player who made the break. So we opt for the more logical rule set. Now, if you set this rule set at the beginning of the match, usually everybody's okay with it. If they're not, then you just default back to the rule set that they like to play as kind of a common courtesy. Now, as you see, player one took stripes, and now we are buried here, so we have a tough bank. It's a 2-rail bank. Unfortunately, there was a solid blocking my cut, so I couldn't get enough to get to the side pocket, and then also the 7 was burying the corner pocket. So we pretty much just went for a Hail Mary there and missed. Now player 2 steps up for his run out attempt, and as you see, took the 1 ball, came off the rail, let the ball naturally come to where it lies just by pacing. And now we're going to bring a little bit of draw here and do the same thing for the 3 ball. Now, as you see here, the cue ball hit one of the solids. I used it as a blocker. If you have a grouping in the middle of the table, a lot of times you can use balls as blockers and put a little more pace on the cue than you would normally need to if you didn't have a blocker ball to use. So keep that in mind. Now guys, probably 60% of your shots, you're just going to naturally use the flow of the cue ball, not putting any extra English or draw or follow, especially when you're first starting out. But as you get better, you'll start wanting to use more maneuverability on the cue ball, hitting it left to right, top to bottom. So here what we do is opt for the side pocket solid there, and left ourselves a little short. We should have hit a little bit harder, but that's okay. As long as you line these shots up, even with the 5.5, 6 feet of blue between the 2 balls, you should still be able to make it as long as you don't hit it too hard, guys. If you hit it too hard, a lot of times it kind of squeezes that pocket a little bit and you'll miss. As you see, we just came off the rail for the perfect leave for our 8 ball and get your celebration there. So player 2 had a nice run out. I like to just clear up the balls just to keep it interesting. I put a lot of follow on that shot, guys. That's how I was able to make the cue ball go into the rail in the front there and then back for the 9. I could have easily put some draw on it, but I don't think the cue ball would have got all the way down the table like I wanted. So that's why I put the follow and came off the 2 rails and then back for the 9. Now on our second game here, let's take a look at this break. Looks like we had a really good spread and a stripe and a solid to fall. So once again, we scan the table, look for our best option. And as you see, it looks like with the cue ball being buried, we're kind of stuck with taking the solid unless we wanted to do a weird bank. But we took our solids here. Put that 4 ball out of its misery with just a little bit of follow on the cue. That way we could get to this 7. Do a bit of a stop shot with maybe a touch of draw and leave ourselves for this 3 ball. Now, I think that what looks like the 2 ball there, or the solid on the right hand side, is better for the corner for our leave. Naturally let that come off. I think I probably did put a little bit of low left just to kind of force it into the pocket and keep the cue in the middle of the table. Now on this shot here, we had to squeeze that 3 a little bit into the side pocket, and unfortunately we have a very tough bank here. I was trying to get that ball all the way back up the table to get to the 6, but that stripe is just keeping me from getting the angle I need. Unfortunately, the cue stopped short of hitting the stripe, so now we have to go for this extremely tough side bank, or bank into the side. And as you see, it was going, I missed barely. So player 2 steps up here. I wouldn't have had a shot anyway on the 5, so that would have been tough. But as player 2 steps up for his run out attempt, you guys are going to see a common theme here. A lot of times, if player 1 doesn't get a nice run, or he does get a nice run and doesn't get the full run out, player 2 actually is in an advantageous spot because he doesn't have so many balls blocking his run. And you see this on that first game, and now this second game coming to, basically prove that point. So what we'll do here, guys, is I'm very good at my draw shots, and so I want to bring that draw back off the rail and then back to the stripe here with perfect angle on the stripe. Allows the cue ball to naturally go into my next stripe shot here for the corner. Maybe put a little bit of follow there. And on this one, I probably put a touch of right or inside English to get that cue ball to come off so I could have a nice straight look at the 8 ball here. Now, I didn't need to do that, but I didn't want the cue ball to be too far on the left, so I would have had a weird bank or a super tough cut. So sometimes, guys, you want to do that. That was a nice run out for player 2. Now, to keep things going, we're going to get this last solid, but I find if you take that, if its cut is too tough, it's better to take the easier shot that you know you're going to make and then work on your lead. Now on that shot, guys, I put a little bit of draw, which kept the cue ball from scratching. Had you just hit it like dead center on the cue ball, you probably would have been way up on the top part of the table. By putting that draw, it allowed it to come off the 2 rails and then back down. And we have a nice game there for you guys. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. After our celebration here, we have our 3rd and final game. And this game I particularly liked because it's a type 1 run out, which is basically you make the ball on the break and then player 1 runs his out, which is my favorite type. The only thing I like better is a perfect game, which if you haven't seen the show, guys, a perfect game is if you do your run out and then run out the rest of the balls on the table without missing as well. You have to run out all 15, or you can count your balls on the break, but in order for it to be a perfect game for player 2, he has to be able to run out all of his balls too. But we'll go over that more later. Now, look at this pattern on the table, guys. You can see a 5. Now, as I said in that prior game, my specialty is not only cuts, but also draw shots, as you see here. I needed to break that 7 ball up, guys, which I did perfectly. Now, that was even better than I probably had imagined in my mind on the shot, but I definitely was going for the full draw, and I was trying to get some break up there, which worked perfect. Now, guys, this game is actually a game of mini draw shots. As you'll see here on this 5 ball, I'm going to bring it back in the middle of the table, perfect for this 6 ball. Now, I could have taken the 1, and then I think it would have probably, the cue ball would have came off into the 6 and then possibly even buried by them stripes. So what I did was decided that the best shot here would be to put, once again, some draw on this 6 ball instead of the 1 and bring it back. It naturally came off at a left, kind of it came back towards me, but also at the left because I had to put so much cut onto that. And let's do that one more time with the draw shot and leave ourselves for the 8 ball here, which is perfect. I love these easy 8 ball shots, as you probably know by now. Guys, I really enjoyed this. Now, this brings up another important topic. A lot of times people will miss their follow-up shots or their big money shots because of the fight or flight response that happens when people walk up in on your shot, which it hasn't happened yet. But as you saw in the background, somebody walked by. Now, as I'm getting this perfect game here, I felt like I could get this perfect game easily. And I only need 3 shots here. I didn't like the lower stripe because I felt like couldn't really get any bite on the draw. If I followed it, it would just get buried somewhere or even possibly scratch. So instead I took the top stripe, and this is where what we were saying comes into play. So as these people come by, I know they're not meaning to annoy me, but what it does is it just puts this little bit of adrenaline in you, and that's why people choke in sports, is because when they get this adrenaline rush, a lot of times they choke because they're not playing at their peak abilities, because the adrenaline is affecting the way they're feeling. That's just part of life. You can try and work on it. It's very hard to. My best thing to say is just do a little bit of deep breaths to calm yourself back down. But even knowing that, or sometimes just like step back from the table, let them walk away, and then relax, basically what you want to do, because you shoot much better when you're fully relaxed. But guys, we ended up making, even though we missed that and didn't get our perfect game, we still cleaned those last 2 balls up pretty good there. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I really appreciate you guys watching, and we'll see you soon. Thanks, everyone.